Hello and welcome to GM Talks, where we will have a little video on Magnus Carlsen and his tricky openings. A lot of people have said that Magnus Carlsen does not have great or deep opening preparation, but he is very tricky and he is using his sort of great chess culture to lure his opponents into position that he knows from other openings and so on. And he has a lot of tricky ideas up his sleeve. So even though it's not like really deep analysis, it's more like a bunch of great ideas and tricky transpositions and so on. So let's see this game. We are in the World Championship of rapid chess, which is played in Kazakhstan at the moment. And Carlsen at this time, he got 6 out of 7, and here he's playing with white against the reigning world champion Nodirbek, Abdusattorov, a youngster from Uzbekistan, who's going to be a really big star for sure. He's been dominating in his youth, and is definitely a man to watch. And he's, by the way, still in having a good tournament here. Okay, so let's see. Carlsen starts with b3. That's the Larsen opening, and that's a very typical thing for Carlsen. He doesn't care if it's sort of respected. He wants to get his kind of position against the right kind of opponents. And b3 is nice because the bishop on b2 will definitely be a good piece. He did play this earlier in the tournament. I don't remember where they had where he played this, and this is a very typical Magnus f3. And here he played the gambit e4, which is probably a nice gambit and gives a lot of interesting play for white, and you will get at least decent compensation here with the lead in development, open files, and a lot of bishops exerting pressure on black. So and he did win the game rather easily. You can look it up. But e5 is, of course, the move. If for instance black goes something like c5, something like this, then we will have sort of a Nimzo Queen's Indian kind of type of position with color reversed, where white has a tempo more, and that tempo is nice to have. It means you can dictate what will happen. So e5 is, of course, the main move. Bishop b2, that's the idea of the Larsen opening, of course, to exercise pressure here. And knight c6, e3. Here you can also play c4, but e3 is interesting. By the way, I'm going to show you a gambit later where black plays d5. d5 is the main move here, but black is a little bit extended after bishop b5, and sometimes, for instance, this is a little bit unpleasant, probably for black, and white does get to play. He can also wait. He can play this move first and then play this move later, and this for sure will be annoying. And white gets the kind of position he likes, and Carlsen gets his position. So recently, people have started to play this, and on this move, they will simply play this move, which looks weird. And after something like this, then even this move is actually theory, and it's supposed to be fine for black. You can also play e4. You can also play a6 here. But Carlsen will have none of that. Knight f3, and white has been doing rather well after this move. I think he will get his pieces out and have good bishops. So why not play bishop d6 here as well? It looks a little bit strange, but maybe not so bad. c4. So we'll have a Sicilian reversed here, and d3, and that thereby Carlsen says that, okay, I'm getting this kind of nice Sicilian setup where you put this here and you put this here. So usually this guy here would be in connection with c6 and d5, and you would play c6, you would put the bishop back somewhere, and then you play d5, trying to build a strong center. But now the knight is here. This does not really make sense in a way. So the bishop is just in the way. At the moment, of course, it's not in the way because it's covering this pawn here that you don't want to lose. Rook e8 over covering the pawn. A3 taking away the square here, and also getting ready for b4 with a typical nice play. A5, bishop e2, all makes sense. Bishop f8, okay, it went back, and black is ready for d5 here. The thing is, if you look at this position, it's obvious that that if you count the tempi, white has won some. So let's see. If we look at it, we say a3, b3, d3, e3. So he played more like 4 moves. He put the bishop on b2, the bishop on e2, knight on f3, and castle. Then he had taken on play c4 and taken on d5. So altogether, he's made 10 moves that all make sense. Black has made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moves, and it's white to move. So black is basically down 2 tempi, which is of course was this and back. Maybe not a disaster. It's also covering here, but you would like to have it on this square right now, right, to overcover this pawn. F6. Keep protecting this pawn, queen c2 to be able to play this move. Notice that on this move, black does have knight f4, rook f1, does cover the bishop here, so now e4 is possible. Bishop d6, putting pressure here. The thing is, the bishop might be okay here, but you can always kick it here with something like this, and then there's this square, and I'm not sure I really like this. Also, this diagonal can be a problem with the bishop going this way. Anyway, I think Carlsen definitely decided that this maneuver here was just too much. This was not okay, so he played a rather cool move here as white. He's saying, okay, I got everything under control. I have a sort of basic hedgehog position. We've had some hedgehogs videos here on DM Talks where you have this setup, you have the perfect setup. You can say you need to put the rook somewhere. This rook here, usually with the pawn on e5, you can go to c1 or you can go to d1. And then you will probably prefer b4 or prefer e4 and d4 or prefer d4 directly and so on. But you can also play in another way. Here it comes. I don't know if you guessed it. d4. Whoa, that looks crazy, right? You're expanding on the side where your king is supposed to hide. But the thing is, with this move, white takes very firm control over e4 because this pawn is not being. So he will be able to put the knight here without getting it kicked, which is nice. But he's also preparing simply to go here, and maybe sometimes, and we saw Fischer do this in a game, play the rook here and attack on the king side. And we're going to see that in the game. So this is rather cool. But this concept is not something he just thought up. This is something he knew from other games. For instance, the mentioned Fischer game, where he has seen this maneuver first. Queen d7 looks very natural. We are fighting over the white squares, and we are attacking this with check. King h1, so you can take it, but then comes here, and there's no nice way to solve that problem. And of course, black is in trouble if he takes on g4, so he just moves here. And white is in no hurry to defend the pawn. He's maybe a little bit afraid of something like this in this position, and it could be a little bit uncomfortable that then the d3 pawn will go, and the king might feel unsafe here. I would definitely feel about that. So knight e4 makes a lot of sense, and at the moment he still can't take here. Sorry. Due to knight a takes e5, which is a very bad exchange for white, for black. So you can, now the pawn is covered, and here finally he decided to cover this pawn. Okay. Knight b6. Black is searching for counterplay here. If you look at black's position, it looks nice. It looks fine. It looks like it's a good position. You have the bishops here controlling all these squares where on the oops, sorry, I'll do like this, and then I'll move that one. Yeah, and you have the knights also controlling a lot of squares. You have rooks in the center, and king is tucked away, and it looks very fine. And this is a typical example of things not being so good, even though they look good. They look like black is fine, but white is just having one pawn more. He has more dynamic possibilities. One of them is to try and attack on the king side. But how are you going to attack on the king side? Well, we will see. Rook d3. Here comes a move. That's often an idea in this position. You want to overprotect this knight, which you will, if you start to play this plan in blitz, you will realize that very often this knight needs more protection. So it's nice to do it in advance. Because black is of course hoping to do something in this diagonal if possible. That's more like scenarios. Black is desperate for counterplay here, because if white is allowed to just play something like this, and maybe even this, and maybe I don't know, knight here and d4, and everything could go into to attack down here. So you really need to do something. So a4 makes sense at the moment where white cannot. Usually white would love to play this b4 here, but that does not work due to this one hitting the queen here and also hitting the rook, winning an exchange. And I actually think white has some compensation in this situation. There's no reason to allow that. So we'll have to take. But if we had played, for instance, if black had played some move and we had managed to play this move before, then we would not have taken. Then we just play b4. Knight a5. Okay, so this one is coming, and again this is threatened. So the rook, of course, will go. Bishop d here, and this position is interesting. How is white going to attack? Well, we will see. Bishop d5, natural move, putting, like we said before, this diagonal is something where black hopes to stop white's attack from coming, and white still plays d5. Okay, so d5 is also this one. Even though there's 3 pawns in the way, they might disappear very fast, and it already looks a little bit scary for black. f5, of course, the natural move for black, and here Carlsen played knight c3. If you ask the computer, it says that this move is good, and after this, you just want to play e4 and take on e5, and the problem is this bishop has to cover here to prevent the mate. There's also some other issues here. So and maybe even sometimes this move. So this is scary. I can understand why a human won't see this. The computer sees like that this is just good for white, but for most of us, we say, okay, there's this problem. So, and we're not even threatening anything. The thing is, yes, we're threatening this move, e4, and if the bishop goes somewhere, then e5 will fall, and if it doesn't go somewhere, then d8 is a problem. Okay, so this is very good for white. I understand that, and it also shows that even a world champion like Magnus Carlsen cannot see these things. So there are still some room for humans to improve. He played knight c3, also a very natural move, hitting the bishop. Really want to get rid of that bishop. The bishop stays on the diagonal we were talking about here, but of course white closes it with e4 and is already much better. Doesn't look like much, does it? but the thing is, it's not so easy to get the king out. You don't want to allow g6, but you don't want to play g6 either because of this problem. So what to do here? He took on a4. I take bishop takes, queen c3, attacking the knight and attacking e5, knight c6, and here comes a very strong move by white, g6. And it's the exact right timing for this move, and of course there was nothing else, but it's still kind of funny to see how strong such a move can be. The thing is that after knight d4, which is the natural move, white has a fantastic move. I'm gonna let you try and find it. This actually shows that Carlsen is really good calculator in these situations. You can play this move, and this looks like okay. How bad can it be? What happens here? The thing is, you're threatening knight here and take. But what about this move? Here, the computer actually recommends queen c4 first. Oops. Why doesn't it go away there? But, oops, sorry. But he played knight f7, which makes sense. The idea is that after this move, we submit. No, wait a minute. No, we don't play that move. We play this move, and this this threatens. For instance, if he if he does something weird, then we're threatening this move. Oops, I'm messing around here. Check and queen g8 mate. So what then? And the problem is something like this to stop the diagonal is met by this move. And and the thing is, after this move, you have this check hitting the queen and the king, and on this move, which I couldn't see when I was looking at this game, we actually have this move, queen, which somehow is difficult to see. So in this position, Abdusattorov took here, but it's not working. He's down a queen, so he has to take it. But this position is, well, you have one pawn for the exchange, but it's not enough. White has a lot of pressure. He has this one, and then this one will be next. Here, black should take on e4, but he played this move, and now it's completely lost after this, and black is not getting anything back here. And after this, he played this. I don't know if he missed that a bishop here is not really a good move. Just rook back and you win a piece. So in this position, black resigned. You can also take here, and no matter the rook simply can't hide. You're threatening mate in in many moves here. And if the rook goes, for instance, here, then you will have this move and winning the rook. So nice game by Magnus. A typical b3 attacking game where he got into position with a few more tempes and played a very cunning, interesting plan. I think Fischer invented the plan with g5. It was with I think with black in the English Opening, but it doesn't change anything. It's still the same plan in the same structure, and kind of a model game for white, this one. And I think Carlsen was probably on his way to winning this tournament. This was GM Talks. Thank you for watching, and if you have any requests or questions, please put them in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe and so on. And I'm glad to be back, and I'll probably make one more video before the new year is, and we'll start again. Thank you for watching.